Today on Monika's Mediterranean, we're switching up some classics with a Moroccan twist. Succulent shrimp scampi, delectable creme brulee. We're making it all and taking a tour of the Mediterranean. Won't you come with me? I love the buttery flavor of shrimp, and my favorite appetizer is shrimp scampi, but I decided to switch it up a little bit. So we've got some shrimp here, peeled and deveined. You don't want to have to devein these boogers. They're a pain in the butt. So we're going to go ahead and season that. We've got a little bit of kosher salt, and not too much there, just to give it a little kick. Fresh cracked pepper, and I like using the multicolored pepper blend. Gives it a little depth of flavor there. And then I got smoked paprika. This one's my secret ingredient. This is a hot Hungarian smoked paprika, and it gives it a real good heat there. We're going to go ahead and stir that up. And then to cook these, I'm using a combination of both butter and olive oil because I don't want the butter to burn. So we're going to add that olive oil in there and some unsalted butter. If I want salt in my food, I'll add it myself, right? A little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Heat that up there till it gets nice and bubbly. Then we're going to need some garlic. Lots of garlic. And I like to chop it real fine so you get a nice strong flavor. The finer you chop it, the stronger the flavor. Toss all that in there. Ooh, and throw garlic everywhere, all over the kitchen. And then we're going to go and add the shrimps in. In the New Orleans area, they call them shrimps plural. Toss those puppies in there. And we're going to stir these around. There's nothing worse than overdone shrimp. If you cook them for too long, they turn into like rubbery little balls, so you don't want to do that. We're going to go and add to that some preserved lemons. This is a really secret ingredient in here. It comes in a little jar. These are basically brined lemons. They're brined in a little bit of lemon juice and salt, kosher salt, and these will sit for at least 6 weeks before you can use them. You can purchase them online or you can make them yourself. They're real easy to make. Toss that in there, and that gives it this bright, lemony, zesty flavor. Then, another secret ingredient, we've got harissa paste. This is a North African chili paste, which I love for practically anything with heat. The beauty of it is it's hot, but it doesn't completely mute every flavor in your mouth. It just creeps up in the back of your throat after you've eaten it, and it's a delightful thing. So we're going to put a good amount in there. If you like it less spicy, add less. If you like it more spicy, have at it. And then we're going to go and flip these over. And the last thing we need to add, we just want a little bit of green, a little bit of fresh. We want to add some cilantro and Italian parsley. The cilantro gives it that little astringent flavor, and then the parsley, I like Italian parsley because the curly leaf parsley doesn't have much flavor to it. Stir that all together, and some lemon juice. Make sure that you're not using the stuff in the green bottle. That's from concentrate. You can get fresh squeezed lemon juice, or this stuff which comes in a bottle. It's actual lemon juice, not from concentrate. It's really good stuff. Good stuff. All right, and then once this cooks down, we're going to just toss it around and plate it up. And this makes a perfect appetizer, or you can use this as a main dish and toss it with pasta, and it makes a delicious dinner. So as an anthropologist, I wanted to fuse my love of cooking with the academic background of it, take the cultural perspective. And in regards to the Moroccan shrimp scampi or the North African scampi, I took a traditional recipe and just kind of messed with it, added the Moroccan ingredients of the preserved lemons and the harissa paste, a little cilantro, just to give it some nuance and some extra depth of flavor. So these are done, and they smell amazing. I wish I could create smell-o-vision. It would be awesome. So we're going to pour that over here and plate that up. Doesn't that look lovely? And the best part of this is if you can get some nice crusty bread to sop up all those sauces, it's delicious. So I'm going to taste it. That's the chef's prerogative in the kitchen, is to taste everything. Oh, too many bites there. That bite from the lemon juice and the heat from the harissa paste, and then that bright green flavor of the cilantro and parsley is just amazing. You're going to love this dish. We're making an Egyptian red lentil soup with a Moroccan twist. We're going to start off with the red lentils. Now I've got some red lentils here for you to look at, and I've got the regular lentils. The reason we use the red lentils is because they're less starchy and mealy than the regular lentils, and they give it a beautiful bright red color. We're going to start off with a little olive oil, toss that in there, extra virgin olive oil. Good onion, carrots, and celery. This is called mirepoix, and that's simply the base for every soup. It'll give it that really nice round flavor. Got the carrots in, celery, lots of garlic. Can't have enough garlic in my opinion. Some might disagree with me on that one, but I love it. Pop that in there. Go ahead and add our lentils in there. And then to that, we're going to add some seasonings. We've got some cumin and smoked paprika. That gives it both color and flavor. Pinch of kosher salt, not too much. We can always add more at the end, but you can't take it out, obviously. Fresh cracked pepper. And then here's where the soup gets expensive. We're going to add saffron. Saffron's one of the most expensive commodities on the planet by weight. All these little fronds right here, those are really, really pricey. So we're going to throw about 20 bucks in your soup right now. If you want to leave them out, you can, but there's no substitute. Don't add turmeric for color. It won't be the same. Toss that around. And now the key ingredient is going to be our harissa paste for a little heat. Again, I love this stuff. I could eat it out of the spoon. Throw it on eggs for breakfast. And then we've got to add some cilantro and parsley for green, for bright color. Now we're going to add the chicken broth. This is very important. If you're not making your own stocks, you can find commercially produced stocks that are just as good as what you made from scratch. I try and find one that's low sodium, all natural, no MSG, none of that icky stuff that you don't want. And I'm also hypersensitive to gluten-free, so that's something you might want to look for, and this happens to be a really good option. You can see it's got a wonderful, rich, thick, dense color, and it smells like chicken. If you want to make this vegetarian, go ahead and use vegetable broth. This is a really great vegetarian option. It's high in protein. So for the Egyptian red lentil soup, I threw in some Moroccan flair with the cumin and the smoked paprika, but it is more of a traditional recipe. But I'd have to say my crowning glory with that one was having a man from Egypt come to our bed and breakfast, the Chestnut Street Inn, and he ate it and he got a little tear in his eye and he said it reminded him of his mama, which made me very proud. Okay, so this is cooked for about 35 minutes or so, and this is done to perfection. And when you lift the lid off, that has the most remarkable smell. It just makes everything delicious. So the next thing we're going to do is puree. I'm one of those kooky people that likes French pureed soups better than chunky soups. If you want to leave it chunky, by all means go for it. But I'm going to go ahead and take my fun little immersion blender. Everybody should have one of these in the kitchen. And make sure you have a metal blade. If you have a plastic one, it will melt in the soup. And that's not such good soup. So we're going to puree that up. Then we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of lemon juice. This is going to give it just a little bit of acidity to cut the starchiness of the lentils. And this is to taste. I like mine really lemony, so. Perfect. So we're going to serve that up. You can adjust seasoning to taste. And then we're going to garnish this with just a little bit of fresh arugula. There's a peppery bite in the arugula that melts into the soup, and it makes it just a wonderful contrast in flavor and color. Look at that. Holy cow, that's good. Beautiful little leaves. Now you get to taste it. This is my favorite soup. You smell the cumin and the paprika. And you get the acidity of the lemon juice. It's just delicious. I love this stuff. So we're going to start off with our entree here. We're doing lamb chops with a ras al hanout spice and a sun-dried tomato aioli. Aioli is really simple. It's basically a mayonnaise-based sauce. You can make your own mayonnaise if you're being ambitious, but you don't have to. We're going to start off, of course, with the mayonnaise, and I like my good old Hellmann's. Lovely. Toss that in there. We've got some sun-dried tomatoes. I like the ones that are jarred in oil as opposed to the ones that aren't because they're a little moister, have a little better flavor. Toss those in there. And then to that, we're going to add a boatload of garlic. What's a boatload? Oh, about this many or so. We're going to toss all those in there. And then pinch of salt, fresh cracked pepper, and we're going to whiz this together. And what's going to happen is you have this nice cool sauce. You're going to toss this over the hot pasta, and it just melts onto the pasta and makes a delicious sauce. Alrighty, our sauce is done and it has a gorgeous red color there. Smells delicious. Next, we're going to work with our lamb chops. I love lamb, my favorite meat on the planet, more than chicken, turkey, beef, anything else. Love it, love it, love it. Ate it in Morocco a lot. So we're going to season this very simply. It's a great flavor, don't need to mask it too much. Just a pinch of kosher salt, fresh cracked pepper on both sides. And then I have a special Moroccan spice. This is called Ras El Hanout, which means top of the shop. And it basically is a combination of 40 different spices. Every family has its different version of it. And the predominant spice that comes out of it is cinnamon. It's delicious. So I'm going to toss that on top. Make sure you coat both sides generally with the seasonings. And then we're going to put this in a scorching hot pan with a little bit of olive oil here and sear these on the outside real well. And the reason I want to do that is to seal in the juices so it doesn't dry out. Hear that nice little sizzle there? Delicious stuff. Pop that in there. We're going to let these go about 3 minutes or so per side, just until it's, I would say, on the medium rare side. I'm going to wrap those up tightly in foil, and then we're going to put those in the oven on low until I'm ready to serve this up so that it doesn't dry out and it just kind of has some little carryover cooking time. So the first time I ever had lamb was when I was in Morocco doing research for my master's thesis. And normally speaking in Morocco, they wait and slaughter an animal when it's a little bit older because it's quite valuable to them for their milk and their wool. So we were eating mostly mutton, which is very gamey, a little bit more like venison. In America, we tend to have an aversion to that gaminess, so you might want to make sure you ask your butcher where he got his lamb and how old it is so you're getting a good spring lamb. Alright, so we've got our pasta cooked and drained, and you can use any kind of pasta you like. Just make sure it's a good quality pasta. I generally prefer handmade pastas, and if you get fresh one, it's even better. And we're going to go ahead and toss that with a little bit of chickpeas, and make sure if you're using canned chickpeas, that's fine, but you want to rinse them really well so you get as much of the sodium off as possible. Take this delicious sauce. We're going to toss that in there. You want to make sure you reserve a little bit of the pasta liquid in the bottom of the bowl because it'll help the sauce adhere to the noodles. That's a really, really good tip for any kind of sauce, marinara or anything else. And that is going to be lovely. We're going to go ahead and put our little lamb chops on top of there. And this is an awesome dinner for two. A lot of pasta there for two, but it's an awesome dinner for two. And I'm just going to go ahead and take a quick little taste here. Get some of the chickpeas, some of the sauce, some of the noodles. The zing of the sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to be uncouth and use my hands because we all like to eat with our hands. Juicy. Just delicious. So we're making creme brulee. Who doesn't love creme brulee? Everybody orders this at a restaurant, and it's really one of the easiest desserts to make. First thing we've got is a little heavy cream that I've just got simmering in the pot here. You don't want to go too far with it because if you scald it, it tastes nasty. And make sure you buy a cream that doesn't have mono and diglycerides and all kinds of other stuff. All you need is good old milk. So that's heating up there. To that, we're going to add a little orange blossom water, which is basically the orange blossoms have been steam distilled, and they capture that steam and recondense it into a liquid, and it smells like just the essence of orange. It's delightful. Pop that in there. Little pure vanilla extract, a little squirt there. And then we've got to prepare our egg base. This is where you can really mess up. You got to use good quality farm fresh eggs. And what I've got here are one farm fresh egg and one store-bought egg, and you can see the difference in the bright orange color on that farm fresh egg, which is just delightful. That's what you want. It's fresh, it's delicious. The albumin, which is the lining around the yolk, is nice and firm, so it's easier to separate them. So to my sugar, I'm adding all those lovely egg yolks, and we're going to whisk that till they're nice and smooth. And we're going to add just a touch of cinnamon to it, just to give it a little depth of flavor. And then once our cream has heated just to a simmer, you want to slowly add those into your egg yolks. That's called tempering. Basically, you're bringing the yolks up to temperature. If you were to just toss that right on top, you'd end up with scrambled eggs, and that's the first big mistake you can make with creme brulee. So very slowly, just a little at a time, and then whisk. Then a little more, then whisk, until you get it all incorporated. And then, once that's nicely whisked up, your eggs are all tempered, you do need to strain that because no matter how perfect you are, you're going to end up with some little clumps and bumps, and you don't want that in your smooth custard. So we're going to strain that into a nice measuring cup here. And then this gets measured out evenly into our ramekins, and that bakes at 325 degrees for approximately 40 minutes in a hot water bath. That hot water bath is going to do a couple of things for you. It's going to create steam in the oven, and that's going to keep your custards nice and tender, and it also helps to regulate the temperature. So it's been 45 minutes. We're going to check on our creme brulee, see if they're all ready. Oh yeah, these are perfect. You want them just set, but still a little bit jiggly, kind of like Jell-O. And then we'll let these cool for the next hour, cover them in plastic wrap, and we'll stick those in the refrigerator for about 3 hours. So in Morocco, dessert isn't really all that common, but Morocco was a French protectorate for about 50 years or so early in the 20th century. And of course, dessert's very popular in France, and especially creme brulee. So I went ahead and took a fusion of the French dessert and applied some Moroccan flavorings to it with the cinnamon and the orange blossom water, and voila, you came up with a new version. So creme brulee means burnt cream. You have to do the burnt part, right? So we've got the creme brulee that's already chilled in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours, and these can stay for up to a week. And then we're going to take some granulated sugar and just sprinkle a very thin layer on top. Then you got to get yourself one of these lovely little blow torches from the hardware store. Turn that up and let her rip. Just until you get a nice thin layer, it gets nice and crispy on top. Gotta let it cool. And then we're gonna take a taste of this. This is my favorite dessert. It's a little crisp on top. Smooth on the bottom. That's gotta be the best dessert on the planet. For more information or recipes, tune into our website. Thanks for watching Monika's Mediterranean. Merci et au revoir.